We have the roll call. President Fiani, here. Vice President Trombley, here. Treasurer Conway, here. Secretary Minor,
Here.
Mr. Drew, here. Mr. Kraus, here. Mr. Anderson. We have a couple revisions to this evening's agenda. So, I move at this time to amend the agenda to add for action item O, best practices initiative, which has been put in place. Additionally, for action item A should be the minutes of May 5th, 2014. And we'll be moving board correspondence and board reports to immediately follow the approval of the agenda. Is there a second? Support. Support by Mr. Trombley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved 6-0. Now, is there a motion to approve the amended agenda for this evening?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley.
Support.
Support by Ms. Minor. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved 6-0. Okay. Board reports and correspondence. This evening we've invited Mrs. Giandrea and Ms. Massard from Horning Elementary. Mr. Trombley, Ms. Minor, and myself attended the Horning Elementary Web Fair this past week, and we were very impressed. And Mr. Trombley brought to my attention that we should reserve some board time this evening at the board to look at basically how the technology from our bond has been implemented and integrated within our curriculum, and also review the excellent work that our teachers are implementing, and then that the students have performed over the years so far. So I'll let you take it away from here.
My name is Andrea. This is Holly Massard. I am actually piloting 30 Chromebooks in my third grade classroom right now, and I've been sharing it with my third grade Horning partner here. And the students have done several magnificent things with them. This is just one of them. We threw together a little bit of entertainment for you this evening during our lunch recess. So here's a quick little short trailer that we made. And the sound's not working very well, so I apologize. All right, we used a program called Weebly. It's a free program. All the kids made their own website on informational text that they had to create themselves, and Holly's going to talk about that writing curriculum that we used.
Hi there. Third grade students excelled in writing an informational writing piece on a topic they felt they knew a lot about. There was little research done as they were to explain a topic and everything they thought they knew about it. It was interesting to see what the topics they chose. Sports, favorite vacation spots, rainbow looming, famous presidents, Minecraft, and how to catch a frog are among some of the topics of choice. In the Writer's Workshop curriculum that Brighton has adopted, students quickly became aware that words used to write a nonfiction topic were different than a fictional piece or story writing they were used to. By following graphic organizers to help them discover steps to writing an informational piece, students learned 3 ways to explain their topic. One chapter was dedicated to description, the next sequence, and finally comparison. Since nonfiction was taught during Reader's Workshop, students knew what text features their writing should include, as reading and writing go together nicely in nonfiction texts. Bold words, headings, pictures, and captions were evident in these amazing expert topics. Their expertise and vocabulary that is used in informational writing was all their own and quite entertaining.
Besides the writing standards that we covered with this activity, the students experienced 21st learning skills, which were amazing. The top thing that we noticed was engagement and motivation. They were constantly engaged. They couldn't wait for writing to happen. I actually got phone calls and texts on the weekends begging for their usernames and passwords so they could work on it at home. So it was really cool. Another real good thing about it is that they could publish online, so they had an authentic audience. It wasn't just teacher or mom and dad maybe seeing it when they were done. It was the world, and because of that, it gave them a voice, and they felt that what they had to say was very important. And because they felt that way, the writing was spectacular. They wanted it to sound good. They wanted it to look good. They wanted to have the periods and the capitalization. So that want was there, which was really nice. Also, another part that I didn't really expect was collaboration. They made their own individual writing pieces on an expert topic that they thought they knew a lot about. But we found that as we were building the websites, they wanted to help each other because they were so proud of themselves for figuring out themselves. So I basically became a facilitator in their learning, not really the teacher, and the kids became teaching themselves, which was also really cool to see. Again, we used the Weebly website program that was free with an email address. They became better at building Weebly websites than both Holly and I, and they started teaching us some tricks of the trade. And we also went over digital learning, citizenship. We also went over internet safety, keyboarding, of course. And we also learned how to copy HTML code and embed it into a website and attach links, and they became very, very good at it. So we did interview the students so you could kind of experience what they felt. I hope you're going to be able to hear it on the speaker, but they had some positive things to say. She said it was really fun and she got to pick her own topic. Oh, it's not showing. Carson said that he really liked learning how to copy HTML code from videos that matched his topic and to put it into his website. Liam said he loved that he was able to share it with his family. Larry said that he was excited to organize his information on the topic of his choice. And Veda says that she loved that she was able to make her writing personalized and enhanced with photographs. So that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for this presentation, and thank you for hosting that at Warren. It's very, very impressive. I know it took a lot of work. Now, you had was it over 150?
The previous years I've done this, I've never had a response over maybe 35, but we used Sign Up Genius. And because we used Sign Up Genius, we had 115 parents, grandparents, and family members come. It was really cool.
It was very impressive.
And we had lots of dessert.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next we have the Assessment Literacy Overview. Dr. Suri.
Yes, I'm going to introduce Jeff Bean, and I'm going to allow him to get it set up while I just give a snippet of preview of what you're going to see this evening. We have in the K-12, we have an initiative in the district we call it Assessment Literacy. It's all about being very, very clear about the learning targets of what we want kids to learn, getting the self-assessment to the level of the kids. You know, there's a lot of talk about formative versus summative assessment, but it really is about using data and assessments to inform your instruction, and not just for the teacher, but for the students as well. When we get to the student level, that's when we know when they're self-assessing, that's when we really see the gains in achievement. So we have a team, I think we have 16 teachers, like I say K-12, that have been part of this initiative all year with our ISD partners at Washtenaw and Livingston. I think there's, I don't know if Jeff can correct me on this, but there must be about 60 across both counties. I do think Brighton has the largest contingency there, and it's an ongoing training in the summer, and then again, support meetings through the fall. But one of their responsibilities, were you going to say all this, Kim? No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, okay. One of their responsibilities, part of their training, is to come and present to the board. So boards all across the 2 counties this month are hearing a presentation by the teams from their district. Next summer, there'll be a second cohort. We also have leadership training, sort of training of the trainer model that we use here. And I think next year we'll have 40 people trained. The next year we'll have 70, 80 people trained. This is kind of ongoing about 5 years out. But there's a lot of support for it, like we say, and I think that's what you're going to hear about tonight is what they're seeing in their classrooms. So,
Do you want the people who are on the team to stand up if they're here?
I would love that, because I'm not sure who came. I see 3 of you here. We come to school. We have Brian Billmeyer from Mulkey. We have Brandy Ward from Hawkins, Chris Cody from Hawkins, Chris Starkowski, our ELA coach, Vicki Worthy from Mulkey, Matt Evans from the Bridge, and Kim Burton, the math coach. We pass it down, everyone to wait.
You can pass those out, sure. Thanks.
He's the boss.
So thank you, Kim. Again, my name is Jeff Bean, and I teach math at the high school. I want to thank Laura Surrey for supporting this initiative this year. It's been a huge learning process. I think there's 15 of us on the team across the district, and about 8 of us started the training last August or July, 2-day training at LASA. And a lot of us had an idea of what was going to happen at this training because we had been poking around with the idea of different teaching practices in our classrooms. So throughout the presentation, hopefully I don't take up too much of your time, but there's going to be some quotes on the board that the different teachers from the team talked about at our last meeting. And so you can read those as I go through this. But what I want you to think about, first of all, classroom assessment for student learning has been around for quite a while. It's been studied at universities in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada. And the state of Kentucky really took hold of this and kind of helped build a set program that other states could begin learning from. But to start out, I just want to ask you a question. Have you ever had a test before and had no idea what was going to be on the test? You studied for it, you studied the chapter, but you still walked into the classroom not knowing exactly what the teacher was going to put on that test. And have you ever gotten a test back where you felt that you learned more from the results of that test than you actually learned during the course of instruction? And that's what assessment literacy is really about. It's helping students and teachers be more literate regarding what we want students to achieve and exactly what learning targets that we want them to learn. So, why do we assess kids? Do we assess kids for learning, or do we assess the students of learning? Typically, we give a test at the end of a 2-week unit, or at the end of a certain section in history, or at the end of we have our quarterly assessments at the high school, a final exam. And then what happens with that test? Students get the test back, they look at it, they look at their percentage, they maybe show it to their mom and dad, and then they move on. And so this is more of an idea of assessing students constantly throughout the learning process so that the teacher and the students know what they know, and the teacher and the students know what they don't know and what we need to work on. So there's a couple of key properties to literacy, assessment literacy, which we call assessment literacy, but really it's called CASEL, the CASEL book. And those would be clear purpose, clear targets, sound design, effective communication, and student involvement, those 5 things. The first 3 things is what the teacher has to work on a lot by themselves or with a teammate. And the last 2 things is really what the students are heavily involved in. When we talk about a clear purpose, it's we want to know who's going to use the assessment data and how it's going to be used. So when I'm looking at my standards that I have to teach, or the other team members look at their standards that they teach, when we're done with that assessment and we have all that data, what are we going to do with it? We're just going to put a grade in the grade book, or are we going to use it to help our students further their learning? When we talk about clear targets, it's clear targets for the teacher, but it's also clear targets for the students, so that everybody in the learning process has an idea of exactly what we want them to learn and what we want them to achieve. So that as we go through the instruction, the teacher can stay focused. Sometimes we get a little distracted. You didn't know that. And the students can stay focused on exactly what they're supposed to be learning. When I talked about the sound design, it's the method of the assessment. There's lots of different things we teach, lots of different skills we want the kids to know. Sometimes we just want them to have some knowledge. Like, can you memorize a few things in biology? Sometimes we want them to build a product, maybe in bake shop or in our art classes, or even in physics class. We want them to have, if they're doing a lab and they have to build some type of product. And so this is the sound design is really helping the teacher understand what type of learning that I want the student to achieve, and am I assessing that specific type of learning. Students really come into play when we're talking about effective communication. And if I go back and talk for a minute about should we assess of learning or should we assess for learning, there's a couple of buzzwords in education. When you assess of learning, it's called a summative assessment. It's the end of the chapter test. But when you assess for learning, it's formative. It's getting information throughout the learning and teaching process. And so as we assess for learning, we want the students to constantly get feedback. So when it comes into effective communication, we should be constantly giving the students feedback about what they currently know and what they need to know to move forward in their learning of that learning target. Also, we want to make sure that the students' grades are accurately showing what they've achieved. And then finally, the student involvement towards the end. I want to make sure that the targets are clear for the students. Can the students assess themselves? Do they know if they've actually learned it? Do they have goals, and do they know if they've reached their goals? And if they haven't, then it's up to the teacher and the student to help them reach those specific goals. So a lot of times our students, as we've been going through this process and using this process, we have our students track where they are. Our kids have lists of targets they're supposed to learn, learning targets. They know exactly what they have to learn. And throughout the process, we'll stop and say, where are you in this target? Have you met our goal? Do you need to work harder on this? When it comes time for a test, and we're going to test them over 15 targets, they should know exactly what they already have achieved and what they need to work on and study for that night. So when they walk in for the test the next day, they're not surprised. They know what we're going to ask. They know what we've been studying. And they don't realize halfway through the test they've spent 35 minutes studying something that's not even on the test. Let's see what else we have. So this is definitely changing our teacher practice. And it's helping us have much more clear learning targets. We're doing a lot more formative assessment. Strange things like I've never done before. I'll give students back a small assessment with a key. And the key would tell the students certain things, like maybe the key is just a couple of letters. Like one time I gave back a key and it had 5 letters on it. And so as students were looking through their work, they saw letters written next to certain parts of the work, and then the key told them what that letter meant. And sometimes that letter was a question, or I was asking them to go further. Sometimes that letter meant that they made a mistake and they knew exactly what type of mistake they made. But what we found is that rarely do we have students prior to this who were looking forward to getting their test back. Where, if they did well, if they knew they did well, they wanted to get that grade. But if they didn't do so well, they didn't want that test back. And now we're finding that students are eager to get their test back because they're learning a lot from those test results as we're giving them the feedback that we're learning how to do. So this slide right here talks about how our teacher practices are changing. We're finding it's easier to build in differentiation right into the lessons because we have a better idea of where our students are and they do as well. We can ask our students, where are you? Like I have 3 different types of assignments in front of you. One's easy, one's medium, one's hard. Pick the one that's going to challenge you. and they know where they are in their learning process and what point they're going to be challenged. We have a better pulse of where kids are in each unit and exactly what they should be learning. Teacher practices that encourage student ownership of learning. So we're finding a lot of students are not as afraid to make mistakes in class. They're asking a lot more questions so they can get the information because they know exactly what they're supposed to learn. So it's not a guessing game for them anymore. When I talked to some of our colleagues about 3 weeks ago on our team, and we were just talking about what we've seen different in our students this year, one of our teachers at the high school reported that typically in her class about 10% of students have a D or an E. And since she's been using this process, none of her students right now have a D or an E. So that's pretty huge. Also, everybody agreed that homework completion is higher than it's normally been, and a lot of the homework students don't receive credit for it. Like students are finding a real connection between the purpose of homework and what they're trying to learn because they know what they're supposed to be learning, so they're doing that homework, even if they're not getting the 5 points for it or the 3 points for it, because ultimately when we give them the assessment, they're going to do well in that assessment. And then the students are more eager to actually look at their mistakes and make corrections from them. And so it's really been a great program for us. Like I said, those are the teachers that have taken part in this, and a lot of us are going to continue working next year, as Dr. Suri mentioned, to help other teachers in our buildings learn about this process and begin using it more. And hopefully at some point, we can say that we are a very literate assessment district. So that's our nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll put these back and sit in the audience on some of these.
Thank you.
Yes,
So,
Teacher Appreciation Week was the week of our last May 5th board meeting. I found this out the day after the board meeting on May 6th. So I, on behalf of the board, would like to thank all the teachers, principals, paras, bus drivers, food service staff, custodians, and other professionals who work for Brighton area schools. Their work, words, and actions, through their work, words, and actions, they guide and teach our students daily. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer. Are there any other board reports this evening? Okay. We will head into the recognition. Dr. Drake.
A couple of great ones tonight. We'll start with our certified staff that are achieving tenure. If they please stand when I read their name, and we can recognize them as a group. We'll start at Scranton Middle School with Dean Bush, one of our special education resource room teachers. Then we move to Philip Johnson. He is a .6 at the high school music and a .4 at Scranton. He is the guy that leads our choral program and has done a wonderful job with Philip Johnson. Tressa King, math teacher at Brighton High School. Erica Lewis, a social studies teacher at Brighton High School. Nate Grabowski, a psychology teacher at Brighton High School. Jeff Bean, who just did a great job presenting, is a math teacher at our high school. Bridget McKinney, Spanish, Brighton High School. Kellen Kirby, physical education at Spencer Elementary. Jillian McLaughlin, a fourth grade teacher at Spencer Elementary. Jessica Murray, a junior kindergarten teacher at Hawkins Elementary. Sandra Cavallero, a second grade teacher at Hornick Elementary. And Stephanie Milbauer, a special education CI teacher at Malmby Intermediate. For all of those of you that showed up tonight, thank you and congratulations. Second thing we have tonight, kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, are our retirements for 2013-14. We begin with a teacher at Hilton, Jeannie Blazo, BA. We go then to a student nutrition assistant, Karen Day. Next we have Anita Epperly, BA teacher at Scranton. Donna Fern, she's a student nutrition specialist at the high school. Jamie Gabicini, special education program assistant at Scranton. Roseanne Holmes, a teacher at Hawkins. Eric Hahn, teacher who was on leave but formerly was at the high school. Diane Colas, a counselor at Maltby Intermediate. Kevin McConaughey, a teacher at Scranton Middle School, Anna McDonald, a student nutrition person at the high school. Pat Meyer, principal at Hawkins. Sandra Muldowney, student nutrition at Miller. Roberta Spear, a student nutrition manager at Horning. Laverne Tatarchuk, maintenance at the district level. And Diane Veldman, student nutrition at Brighton High School. Again, I don't have the number of years, but I'm assuming it adds up to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So thank you. It is, we recommend this with much appreciation, and thank you for your service to the district. Next, we have a special shining star tonight. Marcy Maloney, our special education director, is here to give us this presentation. So, Marcy.
Oh, I didn't realize it was over.
Good evening. I would like to take time tonight to recognize Jennifer Boatwright with a shining star. Jennifer was a paraprofessional in the district that unexpectedly passed away this year. Like many of her paraprofessionals, Jennifer was a valuable member of her school and to the students she supported. I'd like to share a poem that I believe sums up what Brighton area schools will miss most about Jennifer. A wonderful paraprofessional understood students so well, helped them up whenever they fell. Even when students made a big mistake, she said, "We learn the more we make." Her smile has always been very kind. She challenged students to expand their mind. Obstacles they faced and them she believed, she always told students they could achieve. When students needed help, she took the time. She never gave up, no matter the climb. Thank you so much for showing the way. We simply don't know how we could repay. Tonight, Jim Boatwright is here, Jennifer's husband, and he's here to accept the Shining Star on Jennifer's behalf. He's also here to present Brighton area schools with a donation from his employer, and the donation comes to the board because of the amount, but we've had many donations provided to Brighton area schools in Jennifer's name.
Last but not least, tonight we have Johanna Uhas here with our Brighton High School Science Olympiad team, fresh off their season.
Hi, I'm Johanna Uhas. I have been a volunteer parent in the Brighton schools since my daughter was in kindergarten, and now she's a sophomore in college. And once my kids got to middle school, we got involved in Science Olympiad, and I've been a Science Olympiad coach in middle school and high school, along with my husband, Dennis Kinchin, who's over there, and a host of other people that I'm going to introduce to you. I wanted to take a moment to talk about what Science Olympiad is. There are 3 levels of Science Olympiad: elementary, middle school, and high school, and I have coached 2 of those 3, middle school and high school, and now I'm just concentrating on high school because all my kids are in high school or gone. And each team does a lot of different events in all areas of science. That's physics, chemistry, biology, engineering, all of these areas, building hands-on things, doing lab work, and also taking tests. So there are all manner of various ways that you can scientifically be a part of this team. We travel all over the world of science, and it also meets national educational standards for science. We are an organization totally of volunteers. We do get some help from the Brighton PTO to pay our national dues. Everything else that we have, expenses, time, all the competitions and practices take place mostly in people's homes with the help of parents and other students. We have this year 25 people, total members. Of those, we have 2 teams, one of 15 and one of 10. The first team is grades 9 through 10, and the second team is grades 11 through 12. We have 3 9th graders, 7 10th graders, 14 11th graders, 1 12th grader, 13 boys, and 12 girls are on that team. And I'm an engineer, so I work really hard to get women in engineering and science, and I always have. And I'm proud to say that half of our team is made up of women who are doing this kind of work. And it's not just taking tests, they're building awesome stuff, as you'll see in a couple of pictures here. We have a lot of coaches that help out, as I mentioned earlier. They are made up of 11 parents of the students, 3 who are college students now and are coming back to coach our teams, and 5 that are Brighton High School students who are coaching their fellow team members. So we have a lot of involvement of parents and the students as well. Science Olympiad has 23 events, and we compete in all 23 events. We do 2 invitational meets in February, and then our regional competition to qualify for state is in March. At the regional competition, we won by an astronomical number. We were out of 23 events. We took first place in 15 events, second place in 3, third place in 3. We took first place overall as a team, which is how you win, by 57 points, which is really amazing considering most of these competitions are won by 2 or 3 points. So it really was an awesome win. And each event has usually 2 people on it, and we compete in 23 events, as I said. This year we went to state competition at Michigan State in East Lansing. We finished 19 out of 48 teams, had several high finishes, and I'll show you some of those in a minute. Let's see, next year, one of the things we're going to try next year is something new. We had one event this year that we had high expectations for that went to state competition where we took first in that event last year. This year we had some things go wrong at the state competition that had never, ever gone wrong before. And it was a good learning experience for the kids. They were very resilient and did well in spite of all of that. But being engineers, my husband and I have gone through a lot of failure analysis things. Next year we're going to have our team captains and some of the parents help teach the students what engineers learn in college, which is, it's kind of a buzzword, DFMEA, but it's design failure analysis, where we try to design for future failures, that we don't build thousands of prototypes, we build things in a collaborative way where we have people look at it from multiple angles and try to get good designs, try to figure out where things might go wrong and prepare to fix that before we actually get to the point where something breaks in a competition. So that's going to be something new this year. It will be useful. It's a life skill. It's not just something you use in engineering. You can do this every day in your life, whether it's trying to get a plumber to fix something in your house or to figure out how to pay bills and deal with people in sort of trying situations. All of this is useful tool with this design analysis. Now we have a few very short slides that we want to show you. And I'm going to, what do you have first, Dennis?
I have just the photos first, and I'll do the...
Okay, so do the one photo, and then I'll stop and explain what that event is quickly. Okay. All right, this is just us at a competition, going over some of the things of the day. We have 2 teams at all our competitions, and we have lots of people coaching and running around all day. Our competitions last from 8 in the morning until about 5:30 at night. This is our first place team from state this year. It's a magnetically levitated car. And the 2 people on this team, they build a car using magnetic levitation that will come as close as possible to a target time announced on the day of competition, and they take a nice fun test on electromagnetics, which is very challenging because you don't usually learn that until second semester high school physics, so it is quite a test. They took first place this year. And they had a car that, what was the time difference on the car?
Oh, I don't, it was like 0.2 seconds off. Is that Ethan? 0.24.
Okay, and the next closest team was 4 seconds. So 0.24 versus 4 seconds, it was a huge difference.
I know.
Okay. Okay, this is our Mission Possible team. Now, this is a really fun event. We have 2 girls in this team this year, and they build a car. They build a Rube Goldberg-like device, and it's supposed to complete a series of tasks with multiple types of energy transfers: electrical energy, mechanical energy, thermal energy, chemical energy, and electromagnetic spectrum energy. So it has to go through 5 different transfers of energy. And you get points for doing everything correctly and in the right order and without any touches and all of these things. And the device is self-contained. And we did, what did we get in state this year on that? 3rd? 5th. Okay, 5th.
That's the same, just another view of it.
Okay, this is boom lever. And boom lever is to build a sort of a cantilever type device that can hold as much weight as possible while weighing as little as possible. And this is a hard one for the team because they break it every time and have to rebuild it. So it takes a lot of time. Things we pay attention to are glue joints and weight and different, even the same kind of wood can weigh differently depending on how dry it is and all kinds of factors that affect this event.
So this is a setup on
Why
Scrambler.
don't you explain that since you're the...
So there's a couple of pictures here. There's always a vehicle-like event where there's some mode of energy that has to be communicated to the vehicle and to make the vehicle, travel along the floor. In this event, there's actually an egg strapped to the front of the car. So the goal of this is to go as fast as you can in a straight line and get as close to the wall as you can without breaking the egg. And so there's a device here to power the vehicle. You get to drop a 2-kilogram mass, 1 meter, restore that, capture that energy, and try to use that to shoot the car out the front of the fixture. So the kids here, they're setting up the device. It takes a little bit of setup to get it ready to go. And a lot of calibration in the vehicle. This next slide is the distance is unknown, how far you are away from the wall. You don't know that until you get to the event. So you have calibration sheets that we practice at. And the wheel there, you can see there's like a little degree indicator on the wheel. He sticks his finger in there and he spins it around the right amount of times for the distance that it needs to go. And then finally, for this third slide here is the proof in the pudding here. You can see how close we got to the wall at our regional competition. So it's a couple of centimeters off the surface of the wall there. The last slide I have is just the team, the group, the team picture that comes up after we had won state competition, our regional competition.
That's both teams. So that's all 25 kids that were on the team. Oh, and I should talk about that our second place, we have 2 teams. Our alternate team, we're only allowed to officially have 1 team, but with the second team as an alternate. They entered 17 of 23 events and won medals in 16 of those events, so they did very well. They probably did better than some of the regular teams did, by far.
So this doesn't look very good on the screen there, but this is a video of the event with the Scrambler vehicle. In the top in the middle there is Brianna and David that have set up the vehicle, and they will start a run here. So let's see if we can.
Those breaks are awesome. And one more thing before I announce the team members. In the back, we have 3 of our designs that we brought with us that if anybody wants to take a quick look, we're going to probably pick them up in a few minutes though, because all these kids have homework and stuff, so we're not staying for the entire thing. But we do have the scrambler that you just saw the video of. We have that car, not the launcher, just the car. We have the magnetic levitated car and the track on which it ran. And we have, is the boom lever back there?
No, elastic launch glider.
The elastic launch glider, I forgot to mention that, I'll explain that. That is to build a glider launch with rubber band-like launchers that will glide for the longest possible time in the air. And there is a lot of strategy with that, and Science Olympiad has help from a lot of flying clubs and other types that are very active in this. So we do get a lot of cooperation from the community on this. Okay, so I'm going to go into the name of the people, and I'd like to have each person, student or coach, stand up. Not everyone is here tonight, but I will call their names anyway.
And Joanna, when they're done, can you have them make a circle around the table too?
Okay, all right. So you heard that, right? Make sure, okay. Alex Brennan, 11th grade. Madeline Herrera, 11th grade. Ethan Curtis, 11th grade. Alex Foster, 11th grade. Daniel Kaiser, 11th grade. Some of these people are in band, by the way. They have a lot of activities that they're in. David Kinchin, 11th grade. Travis Mattice, 11th grade. Brianna Meyer, 11th grade. Bailey Morenweiser, 11th grade. Tommy Oliver, 11th grade. Evan Palmer, 12th grade. Maddie Paris, 11th grade. Alexandra Perry, 11th grade. Brendan Schultz, 11th grade. Parker Vogel, 11th grade. Tim Haleva, 9th grade. Scotty Fowler, 10th grade. Rebecca Gackler, 10th grade. Morgan Haskins, 10th grade. Lily Ireton, 10th grade. Madeline Jones, 10th grade. John Park, 9th grade. Sarah Pierce, 10th grade. Catherine Pereira, 9th grade. Jordan Ramos, 10th grade. And the coaches. We could not do without the coaches, believe me. This is a hard thing to coach and a lot of time involved. And I'm going to name them sort of in alphabetical like the kids. Ed Haleva, Rod Curtis, Dennis Kinchin, Ben Meyer, Annette and Mark Oliver, Mark Perry, Denise Vogel, Bill Jones. And we have, if all the other parents of team members could also just stand in place at the same time, because we've had help from all of these at one time or another. And some of these help with the middle school too, so it's a very involved group.
Thank you, Dr. Gray. At this time, if anybody wishes to leave, you may feel welcome to do so.
Outstanding. You can go.
Yeah, if anybody else wishes to look at some of the models, feel free to do so.
Okay, I think it's all done.
Growing taller.
So it pays a little bit bit to do year after year because when kids aren't starting right from scratch, you go in and say, okay, what did we do last year? Okay, what do we do? How did you change it to make it?
Is it like kind of the same type of floor every year, or do you have to factor that in?
Can we take this out?
Pardon me?
Can we take this out?
Yeah. Either on.
Everybody, please adjourn back to their seats, and then we will head into the business portion of this evening. That was Bill on the last one. Right?
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, though, very much for bringing in the models and your presentation this evening. We greatly appreciate it. At this time, we'll open up the first call to the public. If anybody wishes to speak, you are welcome to do so. Please step up to the mic, and you will have 3 minutes.
Hi there, Ellen Lafferty. I'm the EA president, Brighton resident, Maltby teacher. And it's kind of disturbing today after seeing just the phenomenal accolades that we gave to our staff today, whether it be our paraprofessionals that are outstanding, our food service, our secretaries that go above and beyond for our kids, like they're their own kids. And then the teachers. The teachers just demonstrated such fine excellence in this district today. And at the same time, they're carrying such of the financial load that this district is experienced right now. They're carrying the weight of it. Yet not once was there mention in the paper. Anytime when they talk about erasing their ink, we've taken such a hit since that 2010 contract that we're still feeling every single day with our class sizes, workloads, small paychecks, and we're absorbing those the financial hits that with the insurance now, it's all on our lap now. We picked up that cost from you. It's no longer your burden on that major medical increases. That's ours. It just seems like we're carrying the weight here, but it's never mentioned. It's never mentioned. This is tough times, and it's wonderful. Obviously, I've said it again and again, what Dr. Gray and Kissinger has done for the shared service. But on the same token, equally as more important, is the financial hit that the employees have taken from the top down. And it just seems to be forgotten again and again and again. And I don't think we deserve that. It's coming to respect. I'm not hearing it. So our support staff has had a freeze, I want to say 5 years. They haven't seen an increase in 5 years. Yet their costs have gone up and up and up. And they've been asked to do more and more. I just think it would be nice to just remember those folks who are carrying the ball still today. For you.
Would anybody else like to speak at this time?
Margaret Adams, I'm a media specialist at Hilton and Spencer Elementary. I just wanted to say thanks to all of our wonderful staff and students. Last week, I'm sure you all know, we had a lovely tornado warning right at dismissal time. And I was in with a group of first graders in the library. We went to our safe spot. And within about 5 minutes, we were joined by 2 bus drivers and a load of kids from Scranton and the high school because they had to take a safe place instead of being on the road in their buses. And I just wanted to say what a fabulous, fabulous job the kids did and the staff did during that 2 hours. It was a scary time for all of us, but it was very well handled and it was awesome. So good job to everybody.
Does anybody else wish to speak at this time? Okay, at this time, the call of the public is closed. 4 action items. 4 action item A. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of May 5th, 2014 as presented? Moved by Mr. Conley, supported by Mr. Trombley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to amend the 2013-2014 budget as presented? Moved by Mr. Trombley. Support. Supported by Ms. Minor. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the 2014-2015 budget as presented? Moved by Mr. Trombley. Supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the deficit elimination plan as presented? Moved by Mr. Trombley. Supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the April 2014 financial statement as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Minor. Supported by Mr. Trombley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the monthly deficit elimination report, April 2014, as presented? Moved by Mr. Trombley.
Support.
Supported by Ms. Minor. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the, is there a motion to approve the 2014-2015 LESA budget as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. View.
Roll call vote.
I just want to, is there any discussion at this time regarding? Okay, I would like to just emphasize that this is strictly the LESA budget. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. President Fiani? No. Vice President Trombley?
No.
Treasurer Conley?
No.
Secretary Minor?
Yes.
Mr. View?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
And Mr. Anderson is absent. With 3-3 tie, the motion fails, and therefore the 2014-2015 LESA budget is not approved. Is there a motion to approve the request for disposal of property as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the donation of 2 portable classroom units to Shepherd of the Lakes as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley, supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? Mr. Conley.
Dr. Gray, regarding the donation of the portables, they're going to send their own crews to pick them up.
Actually, they're sending McDonald Moving Company. McDonald Moving Company, we kind of recommended because they were the ones that actually moved them on the property, and they're kind of the standard in the industry for moving those types of pieces of equipment.
So
The only thing we're going to have to do is we'll have to remove 1 post, maybe 2 posts of fencing, wrap it up, get them out, plug them back in, and reattach the fencing. And our construction management team already understands that piece.
I would only request that they provide us with their proof of insurance and hold harmless for us once they enter the property to do the construction.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
In fact, I would suspect it's probably the ones that put the trailers on, the current trailers on.
Yeah.
This contract.
Actually, the guy that actually moved them 5 years ago is the guy that came out and took a look at them.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the fee schedule as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Chandler. Support. Supported by Ms. Meyer. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the layout of supervisor of custodial services as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the $3,000 donation as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley. Supported by Ms. Meyer. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the participation in donations to school supply rescue and recycling project, school supplies for the Philippines as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Meyer.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Trombley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the levy of the 2014-2015 property taxes as presented? Moved by Mr. Trombley.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? Mr. Conley.
Is it possible that you don't have to take all the 18 mils someday? Is it something we have to take?
No.
Okay. So is there a time that we could reduce the taxes to the area if our budgets are all in order?
Yes.
Okay.
We did get the taxable value today, and it looks like they're up to 2.06, I think is what we heard. On a positive note, if you recall, that will also increase the payback of the bond timeframe less in terms of that, because again, we had budgeted that on that 5-year average, which was a negative 3 point something or other. So even with that, you're going to pay it off in about 15, but with 2.06, if you take the difference, you're looking at a rather large swing when you look at interest payments for our community. So hopefully they'll keep increasing. That'll continue to shrink that payback, and it'll shrink the actual overall cost because of the interest payments.
So we could make that choice when it comes up. We could continue to pay it off sooner, or we could reduce the tax burden.
Yeah, we're gonna have some pretty good options here, I would say, in this district in the next, I would say, 5 years. In about 5 years, you're gonna have some real solid options. In 10 years, you're gonna have to make some decisions based on payoffs, because you're gonna be really, really close to going from 7.19 mils all the way down to about 1.5 mils in relation to facilities. So energy bond will be gone by then, the majority of this bond will be gone, and everything else wrapped into it. In 10 years, whomever's sitting here, they're going to have some really solid choices.
Good here.
Thank you, Dr. Mr. Duke.
Yeah, Mr. Conley, you asked about the 18 mils, will there ever be a time that we can reduce it? I think the answer is, yeah, you can, but if you go below 18 mils, then what happens to the formula, the per pupil amount diminishes to us. The law says if you don't use the full 18 mils, above the full 18 mils, then the per pupil amount to the district is reduced.
So we'll be paying the bond off sooner, just leave it at 18 mils, it sounds like.
Two different things, remember. The 18 mils is revenue generated from non-homestead.
Which we use for operations.
Used for operations, about $10 million a year. And then the bond is a separate entity that the public passes that gets an interest rate attached to it based on a 5-year average. That's why, again, we tried to go when we went, and we hit all of our criteria.
Thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. Is there a motion to conform with the best practices initiative by directing the administration to investigate the cost savings that will be associated with outsourcing any non-instructional services that are currently being provided in-house?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is approved, 6-0. There are no future action items, so we will head into board information. Curriculum, Dr. Suri.
Yes, I just want to take a moment. A lot of our guests have already left the room, but I just thought it would be a great evening with the ladies from Corning sharing what they've done this year with technology in the classrooms. Mr. Bean and the folks from Assessment Literacy and their sharing, and then of course the Science Olympiad, very impressive. And one of the things that I just wanted to make that connection is what we're trying to do with assessment literacy is to do what is naturally done in any of the performance or FCS or the fine arts or CTE programs where there's a product to be made and there's a standard of accomplishment that goes with that product and quality. And what the teacher-student relationship is totally different there because you're trying to help them achieve that level of quality at every step of the way, and there's constant feedback in order for them to get there. I like to liken it to, as a middle school student going to my first solo ensemble contest in band with a trio of other, 3 of us together, and again, that preparation and the practice and how that teacher got us ready for that day to know what that assessment was going to be like. And that's what we're trying to do actually with some of the more mundane learning that has to happen in those general education courses, is somehow turn that into something that's very engaging, but where the kids understand that this is for them. This isn't about sorting them. It's not about moving some over to this side so that these kids can move forward. It's about getting everybody to own their own learning and their own understanding. And we always say with assessment literacy, it's a great day to make a mistake because, and I noticed that came out of the Science Olympiad as well, because we learn most from those mistakes and the protocols, or the prototypes, try it again. So I thought that was great, and like I said, that's what we're trying to do is get that at K-12 classroom level. And the one thing that Jeff wouldn't have time to share with us today is we have a lot of data that's coming in, showing, and he mentioned some of the classes saying that they had 10% of used to get B's and E's, and now they're not. We're seeing more and more kids being successful because, again, we're taking some of that anxiety out of the learning so that this is for them. And it's just a change of total mindset. So that's an exciting thing that's happening across the district. Just 2 other things quickly. I met today with our K-4 report card committee. Every year about this time we do some tweaking and changes in the report card model, and we're moving next year to more of a trimester report card. More feedback or more even feedback for the parents and implementing some of this assessment literacy in there, so it's a growth model report card. We also finished our planning of our August Academy for professional development for our teaching staff for this coming August. So right before summer comes, we get that plan, and so a lot of announcements will be made by the end of this month, so teachers can make their plans for professional development for next year.
Thank you, Dr. Suri. Finance, Dr. Bistinger.
I will reserve my comments for closed session.
As you'll see in the board package as well, the bills of May 2nd through the 9th were included for your review. Human Resources, Dr. Gray.
We've been through our first, I would say, fairly successful round of staffing. We'll have to do it and refine it probably at least 2 more times, and then we'll have to do it again in August one last time. Looks good at this point. We do not have any layoffs in relation to that. If you remember back to 4 short years ago, we had 80 layoffs in relation to one particular group. Good moving forward. Everybody's rounded out in at least the same number of hours that they taught last year. Some have increased in relation to that, and we're still being mindful of the FTE allotment, although that could increase because we've had a significant number of people come through our office for school of choice. We won't know that probably till the beginning of August, even though we'll get asked that question 9,000 times from now till August. But we will not have anywhere near solid numbers till at least the beginning of August, and then obviously the start of school. So we'll staff, and August 1st is kind of when we sit down and finalize the puzzle at that point. But we do try to let our staff know prior to them leaving where they're going to be next year, and I would say 98% of the time they stay in that position. There's only a small variation in that when we get closer to the start of the school year, because we don't really want to move people around if they've prepared all summer and those types of things like I was talking about with the work. So we're pretty good there staffing wise. Kudos to the team in relation to that, and we'll tweak it throughout the summer.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Superintendent.
The only thing about the superintendent, everybody made it home safe from prom, so I can sleep again. It always makes me a little nervous. Prom is great for the kids. It's horrific for us administrators, but everybody seemed to have a good time. Clare University were gracious hosts. Everybody did a nice job there, but I'm not going to steal Danielle's thunder, so especially being her last time here. So.
Danielle.
Yes, all right, so I'll get into, I have a little section for the senior stuff, but I'll just start by saying that there's only this week left for us seniors. So 2 weeks ago, we had AP testing, which also was last week. Very stressful, very long, lots of studying, glad it's over. This week, there are some makeup tests being held, so I actually have to take a Lang test this week. I missed AP Lang test for a funeral. I know some of the physics students, they had to miss their free response portion of their test because of the tornado drill. So I know they have some makeup this week also. The mock accident was a huge success. I think it really hit home. It was, especially being as a senior, I got to see my friends out there, and even though it's fake, it's still really powerful and strong. That was very good, and we just want to say thank you to Ms. Randy Swain for putting that on. She did a fantastic job, along with all the volunteers who took part in the accident. The Avery Pollock soccer game was another really big success. They, the whole family, the Pollock family was there, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles. A big portion of the student body was there. I know the teams had a great time. And then after the game, the junior class council had paper lanterns, and they all went outside and lit up lanterns in honor of Avery. I know it was very touching for the parents. I heard there were some tears, but it was really good. They anticipated raising enough money to buy a bench for Avery, but they actually raised so much money that they will be buying 2 benches and 2 plaques. So that was very proud. We're very proud of Junior Class Council for accomplishing that. Relay for Life was the third big success. There are people walking on the track all night, and I know we had a big Brighton team out there, so it's very cool to see that our students participate in things outside of the school. Last week, prom court was announced. We had Jacob Hoekstra and Macy Majerski, Connor Holm and Anna Robinson, and our prom king and queen, Allie Pape and Harrison Calvert. So that was exciting for the senior class. NHS had their first meeting as a society. They elected their president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. So they are starting things off, and it's not even their senior year yet. So they have a lot ahead of them. Something new to BHS next year is the girls field hockey team. I know a lot of the lacrosse girls participate in field hockey. I have a friend who would travel to Heartland during the fall because she would play on the Heartland field hockey team. She actually got a varsity letter there. So I think it's really cool that we will now have our own field hockey team so we can join in the competition. There was a competition put on by the Junior Class Council. It's called a promposal. If you don't know, like asking girls to prom has become very extravagant in the last few years. And they actually have a competition. You can enter the way you ask your date to prom into a competition, and then they get together as a council and they vote who had the best promposal, and then they get a pair of free tickets. So Dahlia Fergoso and Patrick Dowd won those tickets. He asked her on a scavenger hunt through the woods. So that was the extravagant asking this year. The art show was a ton of fun. They have everything there from digital imaging to pottery to painting to cakes to drawing, and it just shows how much talent Brighton High School has. I'm blown away every time I go there. It is so cool. We had some state qualifiers, some people who took first. Just the talent is incredible, and I think it was a really cool event, especially since most of the school got to go see it. So yeah, prom was over the weekend. It was so much fun. The dance had great decorations. Junior Class Council did a good job. The DJ was lots of fun. Announcing the prom court was lots of fun. So it was just a great night overall, and I'm sad it's over, but there'll be more fun things to come, I'm sure.
Today, we had our yearbooks just distributed to us for the seniors. This is what they look like. It's like bigger than some of my textbooks. But yeah, it's really plain and simple, but it's like the mat cover is really cool. It's a big hit so far with most of the seniors. So, you know, when the yearbooks come out, things get a little chaotic because everyone's signing and looking through and finding pictures. But that's been the big thing for today. So I wanted to put all the senior stuff into a little snippet for you because there's kind of a lot. So, like I said, today, this week is our last mostly official week. So we have a lot wrapping up. Next week, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, seniors who are not exempt from their exams will have to go to school and take their exams. And then on Thursday, we have cap and gown distribution. And in order to get your cap and gown, you have to have your senior responsibility card. It has to be filled out by your teachers, make sure all your fines are paid and everything before you get your cap and gown. Cap and gown will be distributed, and then along with the senior DVD and the senior book. And then after distribution, we will go on a senior walk, which if you don't know, the parents line the main hall and the students come out of the classroom and we walk through the hallways together as a class for one last time. It's a really fun event, so if you can make it, it'll be very cool to see everyone in their cap and gown walking through the halls. After the senior walk, we will hopefully exit out the field house door, weather permitting. We will go out onto the field and then take pictures on the football field. And then after that, the parents will leave and the seniors will go to the senior picnic behind the high school, which Mr. Johnson and Mr. Recchioni will be grilling for us. And it's just one last time together as a class, so that's lots of fun. June 1st is I'm going to struggle saying this. I do have time back over it. Okay, yeah, that's June 1st, and this year it's at the NAS. It's at 2 o'clock, so if you can attend that, that would be cool. The scholarship banquet. There have been 22 scholarships given out. Well, there's 22 organizations giving out scholarships. There's more than one recipient. So that'll take place on May 28th, and I believe it's at 7 o'clock. And then the SUMA breakfast is on June 4th at 8 in the morning. And the SUMA breakfast is for those students who have received a 4.0 or higher. After the SUMA breakfast, there's a mandatory graduation rehearsal in the gym at 10. After that, we are free for 3 days, and then we have commencement at Eastern Michigan at 10 in the morning. And we had speech and song tryouts last week, and there's going to be some great performances, some great speeches, and it's going to be lots and lots of fun. After graduation, we will have the senior light party at 10:30, and that's put on by the PTO, and everyone is very excited. We've heard so much about it, and so it's our time to go, and we're really excited for that. Last week, I talked to Mr. View. He read the paper, and you were wondering about why it's not running next year. I talked to the editor, Drew Drake, and he said it's common for the class at this time to not be running just because they don't get enough students to sign up. And he says that when scheduling happens, more students will not be able to get into classes they prefer, and that will be like their second choice. And then that class will fill up, and then hopefully it'll run. He says that's happened in the past, and that's what they're expecting to happen this year, or next year. And you were also wondering about the article about students frustrated with their class scheduling. I think students were just frustrated with fourth-hour classes. There was lack of opening classes, especially for second semester. It was hard. Most of the classes were full, and I think some of the only classes open were like auto shop, and some girls didn't want to take auto shop, and so it was just hard to get into like a pottery class or something like that. So I think that's where the frustration was coming from. But I mean, the administrators and the counselors worked hard, and I think they got it all organized. I don't think a girl was forced into auto shop if they didn't want to be in there. So it ended up working out, and I think it's all good. Right, Mr. Recchioni?
Thank you.
Yes. And then, off of today's events, Miss Blazo, she is retiring. She was my kindergarten teacher, and I just love her. And yeah, it's sad to see that she's retiring, but I'm glad I got to be with her for a year, and it was a lot of fun. And then since tonight is my last night, I just wanted to thank you for the experience and the opportunity to sit up here. It has been truly a pleasure, and I enjoyed being here and coming to the meetings and learning and watching you guys. And I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm sure whoever fills in for me next will do great things. Dr. Gray knows the best students in the school, so I'm sure he'll pick someone fantastic for you guys. And so thank you, and I just want to say have a good summer. So that's all I have for you.
Good luck at Michigan.
Thank you, Danielle, and on behalf of the board, it was a pleasure having you serve as the student representative for Brighton Schools, and we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. So enjoy the summer.
Thank you.
Go blue.
Oh yes.
At this time, we will open the second call to the public. If anyone wishes to speak, please step up to the microphone, and you have 3 minutes. And also, please announce your name.
Hello, I'm Dave Chesney. I live at 5245 Milroy Lane. My understanding of the role of the school board is that there's 3 primary obligations. And the first obligation is towards approving and maintaining the budget. The second obligation is towards approving and making sure that policies and procedures are followed. And then the third obligation is towards setting a vision for the school district. And I would just like to thank Dr. Gistinger for such wonderful fiscal management that the budget's approved, and so we can check that off the list. And I would like to thank President Fiani in particular for just maintaining policy and procedure in Brighton area schools and at the school board, and I think we can check that off the list.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak at this time? At this time, the second call of the public is closed. Is there a motion to enter closed session for the purpose of discussion negotiation strategy connected with BPA and professional bargaining units, and as much as the administration has requested a closed session? So moved. Moved by Mr. Trumbull. Support. Support by Mr. Minor. Any discussion? We'll have a roll call vote. President Fiani? Yes. Vice President Trumbull? Sure. Yes. Treasurer Connor?
Yes.
Secretary Minor?
Yes.
Mr. Hugh?
Yes.
Mr. Crouch?
Yes.
And Mr. Anderson is absent. We will, the motion is approved 6-0. We will have a 5-minute recess at this time.